There's just lots of different things that I do, and sometimes I spend the day doing a de Kooning painting, and then I'll spend the rest of the day doing a nurse painting. The next day we'll do a photograph, and the day after that we'll do a hood sculpture. And nothing ever really kind of looks the same, and it really depends upon the subject matter. The subject matter sort of dictates the look of the final thing. I moved to New York in around 1973 or something, and then I left around 1986 to come up here. I wanted the exact opposite of New York. I didn't want anything in between. I wanted something that was really exotic. So I had never really been in the country. In fact, it really kind of scared me at first. This is basically pretty much of an extreme. We live at the end of a dead-end dirt road in the middle of nowhere. I've been able to build this environment here. It's like a little town at the end of the road. And you can do different projects, and I'm sort of interested in, building buildings and fooling around with architecture, which is something I couldn't do in the city. Sometimes I'll go for like 5 or 6 days, and the only person I'll see is the FedEx guy or the UPS guy. It's not about collaboration up here. It's, you're pretty much on your own. I like the idea of just getting lost. It can get bad up here in the winter. It can really drag on you. The ice, it's mostly the ice storms where you really can't move. It can get to you. So this is one of our local establishments. We can grab some chow here. We got this restaurant in town that opens Thursday through Sunday. And that's it. There's no gas station, there's no grocery store, there's nothing.
There's not really much to do in the town. He's a good customer. We serve breakfast and lunch, and usually he gets a Philly steak or grilled cheese with tomato.
Cheese steak with some potato chips?
Cheese steak.
And chips.
Potato chips?
Yeah.
I did a photo shoot with him about 2000. Made the front cover of a magazine called Purple. So that was kind of cool. I haven't really seen a lot of his artwork. I've heard that it's very unique.
I have these impulses and these desires, and I just go ahead and do it. The art world likes to be hammered over the head, with the same thing, because they want to feel like, that's what you do, and they want to be able to say, okay, that's what he or she does. I don't know why the cowboys are works that people really want, and I don't know why the nurses. Certainly the nurses, I have no idea why. This is the original cover for that paperback. I sort of mess with it, intervene with it, contribute to it, continue it, and make it my own work.
So tell me,
right now I'm working on what I refer to as a de Kooning painting. Basically, it's something I started doing a couple of summers ago. It's gotten to this point right now. I've always liked de Kooning's women paintings. It started off with a book of his, and I just started drawing on it. And I would just sort of continue to draw, just sort of use him as a starting point, add stuff to his. Anyway, I just started, fooling around, and one thing led to another. After I did the books, I started to make collages. So it'd be like a woman one of his women on the left and one of my men on the right. So that was my contribution. Then I send this out. This is what I get back And it's pretty rough at this particular point, but basically I know what I'm going to do with this. And then it goes from here to here. It's sort of like a trial and error where, I'll put 5 or 6 different arms and legs, just trying different rhythms out. Bring this hand down here and cross over, put a kind of Picasso-like foot. It's just kind of a new way of dealing with the figure. This idea of the photographic part and the drawing part fused together. I've never really cared about, how the public has perceived my work. I could care less. It's really good that people collect my work because it means that I can, make other work. We can go in this room here. You got to kind of squeeze through. This is another workspace. These are paintings that I've kept for myself. A lot of these are just variations on the joke paintings that I started doing jokes in 1986. And the joke paintings were really kind of monochromatic, just 2 colors. Color on the background and the joke was silk-screened into color. And then they got very painterly, like this. This is probably 6 years ago. I mean, the reason why I painted them was I wanted to present the radicality of the subject matter in a very traditional way. That's all. This is about 3,500 pounds of clay. And all it does, it rolls back and it rolls forward. But this is a model, a clay model for a Ford GT40. For me, a lot of what I think about is I guess you could talk about it in terms of this idea of continuation, that all it is really it's something that's added on from what has been done before me. And the idea of buying a book and calling it yours is something that you have to give yourself permission to do. Obviously someone else can't do it for you. I mean, a lot of people would probably say, well, wait a minute, you really can't do this. You can't go out and buy a book and sign it, call it yours, and sell it. But for me, that's very easy to do. It's not really about being new, as more as about being this idea of something continued. I've always liked this road. This is like my little museum. I always liked the way it sat in this field. It floated in the sea of grass, which I really loved. We can go in if you want. It's sort of like, I like the idea of a space that's not necessarily a gallery or a museum, that's more like a domestic space. And the idea that you get, when your eye is looking at a piece, it looks out, and it sees stuff outside the window, and it's independent of anything. I really took my time with this, and I thought about what was going to go in it. I mean, this place was really screwed up. It had been used as a hunting lodge, and the guy died like halfway through. I mean, it didn't have a bathroom, didn't have any walls or bedrooms, it was pretty nuts. And I really liked the idea that it was abandoned. I had my eye on it for years and years. I always used to ride by and look at it. And there's something about an abandoned house. It looks like it has a life of its own. And then I put about 11 or 12 different pieces of art in it, and that was it. It's enough. And then I sold it, the whole thing. You got the whole thing. Got my Sid Vicious paintings here. These are called cluster flies. They're a kind of a domestic problem. Yeah, I gotta clean up these flies. Someone broke in here. Well, nobody stole anything.
Is that the security system?
Yep, for now. And that's my 73 Barracuda that's permanently parked. I guess the original paint's coming through. Yeah, I used to drive this thing. And I guess you're gonna eventually make an appointment and you'll be able to come up here and, you know, maybe have some lunch or something. I was going to use this land as about 80 acres. I was going to have like a festival, a little music festival every summer. And we were going to build some stages and I was going to invite people to perform, but never got a, I don't think that's going to happen now.